Hey, what up? It is I, Alistair, here with another DIY video for some reason. I've just decided that I'm doing these in between the old school shoots and trying to keep momentum going rather than abandoning this as well as the other YouTube channel, which you don't know about. Gnome Gnite. Go look at me make sculpt miniatures. Anyway, when I was a young lad, I once went with my dad to the farm shop. I think it was CRT is the name. And I'm probably conflating several experiences here, but I remember him looking at like it was a fleece scale. So it was this scale, like you shear a sheep, you put the fleece together, you put it in there, it'll weigh it for you. And it was expensive. And Dad looked at that thing and said, I'm not paying that. I can buy the tools and make it this weekend for cheaper. And with those words, Mr. Fleming Sr. doomed me to a life of half-finished projects, too many tools, half-baked DIY, and just, a good experience. I do believe that we need to be more active in our own lives and stop paying people extreme amounts of money to do shit we can do in 20 minutes with a power drill. So, based on that, today we're going to make one of these. This is a push-up board. You do push-ups on it. It's a pro wrestling thing. It's a Hindu yoga thing. I believe Carl Gotch became a fan of these when he went and trained with a Great Gama or whatever back in the day. Big Japanese wrestling thing, useful little object. Like you hold your wrists in a different way when you do push-ups. There's a bit less weight on them, and the push-ups are a bit harder. Good for you. Good for the soul. Doesn't take very long. I have used a 42 by 19 millimeter by 1.2 meter piece of wood. Which roughly is a 2x1. It's a bit smaller than a 2x1, but if you can buy a 2x1 by 4, there you go. Yeah, it's 2 inches by 1 inch by 4 foot. There you go. Roughly. That said, pretty easy to make. Here's the fucking time lapse, which I'll voice over. Alright, here we go. I did cheat a little bit. I pre-cut all my pieces, but you can see that the sort of bottom pieces are the width of the piece of wood, and then two 45-degree angles out from that to be much longer, so they're actually a thing. The overall handle piece is 75 centimeters, which comes out to about 29.5 inches. And I've just measured 6 inches each in from each end, and 2 little dots, sort of equidistant, where I'm going to drill some pilot holes and then put in some screws. Now the reason I'm moving my camera around here, sorry, hope no one gets motion sick from that. One could conceivably use wood glue, one could nail, one could do whatever. I just happen to have a power drill and some 40mm screws and a 40mm 8-gauge screws and a 3mm drill bit. So I've just done all my holes. I've just gone straight through the piece of wood for the moment. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the top on the bottom so that when I drill straight in and everything's all lined up nicely. And then I'm going to attach one side before I drill the holes for the next bit, just to prevent anything from moving around. So I'm finding my Phillips head bit, and straight in, easy, no splitting, no need to worry. Of course, if I hadn't drilled pilot holes, there would perhaps be the issue of the wood splitting as I drilled in the screws, which is not something that I wanted to deal with. There you go. That is why I performed that particular action. But yeah, you can see this is not taking a huge amount of time at all, and the object is pretty much complete. Now that I've finished drilling in that last one, and then I'm just going to grab some 120 grit sandpaper and give the overall thing a rub, which will shake the camera delightfully. Really paying attention to where my hands are actually going to go on. I did come back around after this and actually give the whole thing another sand, but there you go. It's not exactly hugely difficult. And if one wanted, one could go and get some lacquer and some varnish to make it look semi-decent rather than this raw piece of wood that I have here. But it is, in fact, ready to go. just finishing up the sanding there. Shave and a costume change later. Here I am. So yes, and push-up board. Pretty easy. Or maybe you want to make one of these. Used them in pro wrestling training. Just an item of exercise equipment. And then there was a guy selling them on the internet for like $70 a piece. No. $5 worth of wood plus some screws. But I did have the tools. So, and also I cut it with a handsaw. Like, it's not hard. There you go. That's how to make one of those. If you're a pro wrestling weeb such as myself, or you want to, you know, do some home workouts and you don't feel like buying the fucking Randy Couture, you got a door, you got a gym, body, whatever system, one of these and the Gotch deck of cards workout, and that will get you pretty fit. Alright, I have an episode of Old School Shoots in the works. I've got some more sewing stuff coming. Gonna be a little month of activity for you all, and then I hope to abandon the channel again for another 6 months. So I'll see you all next time.